All right, so right now I need to sharpen this quill. So in order to get a perfectly level, sharp cut, I need to use this micrometer to make sure it's level. So the first thing I'm gonna do is drop this down onto the surface, zero it out, and then all I'm gonna do is move this across the face, and it's going to the left, so I know that the slope is up. So I need to bring it down, so I'm just gonna tap it. Zero it out again. It's still sloped up, so I'm gonna keep going. And just keep doing this until I get zero all the way across. Just a little bit more. It's pretty close. There we go. So now we know we're level, and all we need to do is grind it now. All right, so the first thing I'll do, I want to make sure that this surface doesn't have any dirt on it, so I'm just going to clean it off. All right, now we need to line up the quill with the grinder. So I'm going to turn this on and see where we're at, left to right. Just need to move it over a little bit. You want it so that it comes off each edge about the same. It's good right there. Make sure nothing's raising it up back here. We'll lock it in with the magnet. Now I'm just going to bring this down until it touches. And now I just want to go back and forth so it gets level all the way across. So every time it comes off the edge, I'll move it a half turn. And now we took off one layer, so now we're going to go down about 5/1000ths of an inch. Back across, clean it up. Now I'm just gonna stop it and look at the top to see if there's any imperfections that I need to get rid of. Nothing there, so we're gonna call it good. Turn it off. Turn the magnet off. Now we're just gonna take this quill out. Now, since we took off this top layer, we need to bring this back a little bit so the side tools won't hit it. So you don't want it to get too close to that hole, so that's probably good. Put it off. Now next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna round this top a little bit so that when the cutter slides on it, it doesn't catch on top. Okay, I'm gonna demagnetize the quill. And we're gonna rub some bluing on it so that when we have the cutter wheel slide down on it, we can see the blend, see where it's cutting off at. And we'll take it out to the machine. So the first thing I would look at is to see if there's any shims that need to go behind it. And when I took it out, there weren't any there, so we're gonna be good right now. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put this right in. I'm gonna push it up against this cutter so we can see how our blend looks. Grab my flashlight. See if there's any light that comes in between the gaps. So I can see a little light right now. So the first thing I'm gonna check is to see if I ground the front end off enough so that it's not hitting. It looks good, so I think we're gonna need to put some shims in there to bring it out a little bit so it rubs against the face a little better. But first I'm gonna put this part in just to make sure it's not hitting this side tool. The blend again. I'm going to put a little pressure on the quill with my Allen wrench. So with a little bit of pressure there, there's no gap in between. So I'm going to tighten the quill down now. And we're just gonna check the blend again. So I can see now that the blue ink is rubbed off right where the hole is. So I know that I'm cutting right over the hole, which is where I need to be. And when I shine my light down through here, I can't see any light in between the quill and the cutter. So I know I'm good. So the next thing I'll do, we've got that tight, we've got this tight, we have our set screw tight. The last thing is this clicker. Woo. So in order to place it properly, I want my rings to be pushed out. So there's these fingers that need to be all the way out. And then I want this part to rest on the back ring. Right up against it. Now I'll put my bolt in. Tight there. And now I'm just gonna get the wire back in through the quill. Okay, so I'm hitting something on the inside of this first part right now. So I'm gonna cut it out one more time. We're gonna see if it goes through. Maybe it just caught on something small. All right, so now I fed it into the quill. So now I can close this up. We're gonna turn the power back on. Lock out, tag out, safety. We're gonna go back around. I'm just gonna mark the last rings that were made before I did this. And we're gonna test it out, see how it goes. So first off, I want to look here right where they're coming off and make sure nothing weird is going on. It looks like they're getting cut well, they're coming off, going down the track well. So far so good. Look at the underside as they go along, make sure they're not shifting along the track. Make sure that these edges are sharp. They look good. And now we're gonna wait until we get some rings that are behind this mark so that we can take it into the quality room and have Chris check them out. The reason I had to sharpen this quill was because the rings on the underside were getting dull. So you can see that the sharp edge there is pretty short. You want it to be more of like a mountain piece. So they're going up, way down, way up, way down. And these aren't. So we can compare this one to a new one once we get it. should be this ring, or this strip. So you can see now these are sharper. You can kind of see where it goes all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. So we're going to take this into quality. Actually, we'll let this one go through. We'll take this into quality now, make sure it looks good on the shadow graph. Cut one off. I'm gonna mark this strip for Chris to check. It was number 30, my initial. And then we'll check this ring out on that shadow graph to make sure it's not hanging, make sure it's within the boundaries we want it to be, and to make sure that this is sharp. Which visually it does look good. So this is 16. So I'm looking at it. It looks like we're not going past our line here. We're not going past our line here. We're within our boundary. Not hanging below this. Not hanging below there. We look sharp. So now we'll just leave it to Chris to double check.